And joining me first on the show is former Attorney General and Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi. Mr. Rohatgi, in the Justice Yashwant Verma episode last year, when cash was allegedly found at the judge's residence, the court then spoke of due process and internal accountability. So why term a textbook reference to judicial corruption a conspiracy, sir?
Look, the Yashwant Verma case has nothing to do with this article. Now, please understand, you bring an article targeting the entire judiciary in this country and you put it in a class 8 textbook of NCERT. What are you trying to convey to young minds? That the entire judicial system is corrupt and therefore there is complete lawlessness in this country and therefore nobody should follow the law. And why only the judiciary? Corruption is a problem in the society as such. Whether it is bureaucracy, whether it is police, whether it is politicians, whether it is ministers, whether it is, commercial enterprises. Why are you targeting only the judiciary? I want to understand. There may be black sheep in the judiciary. There are black sheep everywhere. That does not mean that you paint everybody black. And you have a democracy where rule of law and the judiciary plays an important part. You are virtually touting lawlessness in this country by telling young minds, hey, don't bother about the judiciary is completely corrupt. So don't go to courts, settle your disputes like the law of the jungle. Is that what you are conveying? It's a very, very sinister and a calculated attempt to somehow denigrate the judiciary.
Okay, but Mr. Rohatgi, where does legitimate academic discussion end and contempt begin? Can acknowledging rare instances of misconduct automatically amount to maligning the entire institution?
No, madam, as I said, there are black sheep everywhere. Now, whether it is this case or that case, of course, those cases are bad. But that doesn't mean every judge or every stakeholder in the system is bad. Every lawyer is also bad, because the corruption can't be with the end of the judges. It also involves lawyers. It will also involve private parties. Lawyers are, appearing before the courts every day. They are a medium between the client and the court. So lawyers are also corrupt. Lawyers are also taking money. There is no justice. There is all these judgments are all fake. What you are spreading is anarchy. So nobody is disputing the fact that the system may be slow. It may be tardy. You can blame the system. Like Tariq pe Tariq, all that is possible. But please remember, ultimately, the common man of this country, ultimately when he gets no relief and all the doors are closed, ultimately he turns to the judiciary. And judiciary, the strength of the judiciary rides on public opinion.
Yes.
It doesn't ride on what the judges think or what the aura of judges is. It is public confidence. It may be shaken to an extent because of delays and tardy process. Yes, I can understand. You have to tighten it up. But this is completely knocking the base out. And please tell me one thing, madam. Why should it appear in a class 8 textbook? Is that the only medium? Why doesn't it appear, you can have a debate? This is sponsored by the government. You can have a debate. Okay, let us do something about judiciary. Let us do something about corruption with ministers. Let us do something about corruption here, there. You can have a public debate, no problem. But why this kind of a slip in? This is a slip in a class 8 textbook. I find it intriguing. So today, the Chief Justice of India took suo moto notice. According to me, it is criminal contempt of the grossest nature.
Okay.
Criminal contempt is defined as interference with the course
You're
of
calling
justice.
it criminal contempt.
While a civil contempt is as between two individuals. That if there is an order and you breach an order, that is civil contempt. But criminal contempt is of different proportions, interfering with the course of justice, scandalizing the judiciary, denigrating the entire judiciary. You can criticize a judgment of a judge, no problem. No problem. You can criticize. Every day people criticize. I also criticize. But to say that the whole judicial system is marred with corruption and virtually telling people, please read it and then don't bother about the judiciary, I mean, you're going to have a complete failure of democracy, a failure
Okay.
of an orderly system, whatever little orderly system we have
Okay,
in this
sir,
country, all that
then
will
tell
fail.
me, does erasing such content protect the judiciary's dignity? Or does it create the perception that the institution cannot tolerate uncomfortable conversations?
No, madam, it's not a case of uncomfortable conversation. See, this article doesn't target an individual. So it is the concern of the bench and the bar that this is specifically targeting, according to me, it's a calculated attack. It's not just a negligent one off kind of thing. And it's not uncomfortable in the sense that it doesn't target an individual, but it targets the judiciary. And therefore, the Chief Justice of India, as the head of the judicial family, had to take some action, and he has taken that. I fully endorse it.
Okay, tell me, sir, then who is really involved in this calculated attack, a phrase that you have used? Do you think it should be investigated then?
It should be investigated, and that is what the Chief Justice has done today. It has to be investigated. It certainly can't be slipped in by a school teacher. There's no question about it.
Okay, should 13-year-olds be then shielded from discussions about judicial accountability?
As I said, madam, there you can have a debate whether 13 or 13 may be a little too young. So after passing 12th or in first year, when you kind of in college you come to grips with stepping out of, you know, a kind of a school kind of an era where you are sheltered. When you at least go to college, there is some opening up of public life, etc. That's the time that you can have debates. Why not? But not this kind of thing. This is certainly not what you are hinting at. Certainly, you can have debates. You have
Okay.
debates about corruption everywhere. I'm not saying no.
Okay,
But
Mr.
this is not
Rohatgi,
the way.
that brings me to my last question. What precedent does it set? If courts shape what can be said about them in textbooks, where does that leave the entire discussion around free speech and academic independence?
No, madam, free speech also has limitations. Every right under the Constitution has limitations. Free speech doesn't mean that you can go on abusing everybody at large just because you feel that you have the right of free speech. It has boundaries like anything else. And this is certainly crossing all boundaries.
All right, Mukul Rohatgi, former Attorney General, really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.